Hey, so yesterday afternoon we went to this big old antique mall because I've been reading through Leonardo da Vinci's biography by Walter Isaacson and I don't know, I felt like a craving to go on a bit of an art hunt and just to go look at paintings and see what I could find. And to be honest, there was some nice art there, but nothing really spectacular. But I did end up finding a few other things for our house and for some projects that I've been working on. And first and foremost is this insanely beautiful edition of The Return of the Native by Thomas Hardy. So there was this whole private collection that had been donated from someone's estate. These books have all been rebound specifically for the owner of the collection, which is just wild because this binding is gorgeous. Like, this is what you see on Pinterest and online and you think, where can I get my hands on that? Like, I need this. So picture hundreds and hundreds of these books, most of them being classics or histories. There's a lot of books about American presidents and American history, for example. Yeah, and then they all have kind of the ensign of the owner of the collection who had them bound so he could have a really aesthetic looking library. It does say that they're from the Easton Press in Norwalk, Connecticut. Wow. I am just in awe of this book. It's so beautiful. And then this is just something that really felt springy to me. It's just this little like sugar bowl that just reminds me of like a fairy tale, like Rapunzel's tower or something, or just a little fairy cottage. And I just thought it was so pretty and sweet and springy. And so I'm gonna find somewhere for this in our house to kind of get this place ready for spring, because I'm so ready for it to be spring. I'm really tired of looking outside and just seeing white and gray slush and ice. There's ice everywhere. I haven't been able to walk down my laneway safely for like a month. It's just all frozen over. So then I got some vintage postcards to use in my scrapbook. So I'm currently scrapbooking my last trip to the UK. So these are perfect. The Houses of Parliament in London, the Tate Gallery in London, Dover Harbor. We had quite the experience in Dover. Corpus Christi, Oxford, and then London Kingsway. I think these are just beautiful, and I've been collecting postcards like this for years and making different things out of them. Cards, scrapbooking, just putting them on my walls. I definitely have a weakness for beautiful postcards. Okay, and last thing that I bought. So this is a baby item, and I have been buying a lot of baby stuff recently, and it's not because we're gonna have a baby soon, but I just couldn't not pick this up because it's this little kind of apple orchard jumper. It's green and then it's covered in little red apples. And so my Oma and Opa have owned an apple orchard for decades and decades, and I grew up spending so much time on this apple orchard, working on this apple orchard later, and it's just, apples I guess are like a big part of my upbringing. I can identify different kinds of apples really easily. I can tell what's a Honeycrisp versus an Ambrosia. I can tell what's a Mutsu versus a Golden Delicious, you know. Anyways, I just thought this would be so sweet if we ever have a little girl to take her to Oma and Opa's apple orchard in this little jumper in the summer and have her run around. I don't know. I have a vision for it. It's vintage. It would need, some sort of little t-shirt underneath it. But I just think it's so cute and precious. Okay, so that is the last thing that we picked up from the antique market. Okay, I have one other thing that I want to share to you, which is a myth that I came across this week, I shared with my classes, and I've just been thinking a lot about. And it's Hercules at the crossroads, also known as the choice of Hercules. So Hercules is kind of this ultimate Greek hero, right? He's the one who does the 12 labors, he's muscular, he's strong, he's kind of the man. And this story is a bit of a moral allegory or parable about the path Hercules decides to take early on in his life, in his youth, as he's about to become a man. And we have this myth because Socrates actually recounted it to his students, and his student Xenophon recorded it in his Memorabilia. So yeah, I have just a version here, a translation here of Hercules at the crossroads that I'm going to read to you, and then we can kind of talk about it. So, Hercules at the crossroads. In the bloom of his youth, Hercules, son of Zeus and Alcmena, found himself upon the cusp of manhood. Desiring to contemplate the course of his life, he withdrew from the company of men and wandered into a solitary place where the paths of life diverged. As he sat in quiet meditation beneath a great oak, two women of strikingly different countenance approached him from opposite directions. The first was radiant in form, her robes of shimmering hues clinging softly to her figure, and her eyes sparkled with a light both alluring and deceptive. Her voice was sweet, like honey dripping from the comb, and she moved with the ease of one unburdened by care. Drawing near, she spoke first. Hercules, I see that you ponder the course of your life, and I have come to offer you a path both pleasant and easy. Should you choose to follow me, your days shall be filled with delight and repose. You shall taste the fruits of every pleasure, your heart untroubled by toil or sorrow. Power, riches, and joy will come to you without struggle, for I shall lead you along the smooth path, where all things desirable are within reach. I am known among mortals as happiness, but those who love me call me pleasure. As she spoke, her words wove a tapestry of ease and delight, promising a life free from hardship. But even as the sweetness lingered in the air, the second woman advanced. Her appearance was modest, her garments simple and unadorned, yet her bearing was noble and her gaze steady and sincere. Though her face bore the marks of discipline and effort, it shone with an inner light that neither time nor toil could dim. When she spoke, her voice was firm, resonant with the weight of truth. Hercules, she began, I know why you sit at this crossroads. I am virtue, and I come to offer you the path of honor and glory. But know this, the road I show is neither easy nor free from pain. If you follow me, you will encounter hardship, labor, and countless trials. You shall know the sweat of your brow and the ache of weary limbs. Yet, through these struggles, your spirit will be forged like iron in the fire, and your deeds will resound through time. The world shall remember your name, not for fleeting pleasures, but for the righteousness of your actions and the strength of your character. The fruits of my path are not given lightly, but they endure beyond to the grave. Hercules sat in silence, weighing the words of both women. Pleasure's promises glistened like the sun on calm waters, tempting him with visions of ease. Yet virtue's words stirred something deeper, a call to greatness that resonated in his soul. At length he rose, his heart resolved. Turning to pleasure, he spoke with measured words. Your path, though sweet in its beginnings, leads to emptiness in the end. I seek not a life of ease, but one of purpose. Then, facing virtue, he inclined his head in respect. Guide me, for though your road be hard, it leads to the immortality of the soul and the honor that time cannot erase. And so Hercules chose the path of virtue, embracing the trials and labors that would etch his name among the stars, his deeds a testament to the enduring power of righteous struggle over transient pleasure. Thus, at the crossroads of life, the hero's choice was made, and through his decision, he became not only a man of strength, but a beacon of moral fortitude for all generations to come. I love this myth. I mean, there's so many parallels with other pieces of literature, and just the vision of the kind of diverging path, right? Which road should you take? It reminds me of the wide way and the narrow way from scripture, where you can take the wide way, which is easy, it's busy. Most people are taking the wide way. It's full of pleasure and enjoyment, but it leads to the city of destruction, versus the narrow way, which is less often trod and which is fraught with difficulties, but which leads to the celestial city. So yeah, the decisions you make in your life, your priorities, whether you prioritize just ease and enjoyment rather than doing hard things with the goal of becoming a better person, a more virtuous person. Yeah, we all have to make these choices, right? Whether to have a good time now or a difficult time now with the hope of a better time in the future, if that makes sense. Jesus says in the Gospels, don't lay up for yourself treasures on earth, where moth and dust corrupt, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and dust do not corrupt. If you believe in an afterlife where you will be with God, you will experience eternal bliss and joy and peace because your sins have been forgiven, you've been recreated, and that's your eternal destination. Striving for that is worth so much more than striving for pleasure, transient pleasure, right? Fleeting happiness here on earth, because the Christian life is not easy, right? Striving to be virtuous, striving to know God, striving to serve others and put others above yourself. These things are hard. They don't make for an easy life. Distinguishing yourself against the world, against society around you, feeling like an outsider, and often being disliked or ridiculed or persecuted for your beliefs, that's not easy, but that to me is a choice worth it to take that path in the faith and hope that God will reward and that things will be better in the end and better in heaven than they ever could have been here on earth. Yeah, that's kind of where my mind goes with this myth, this pagan myth, ironically, that kind of gets at some Christian truth. But I think wherever you are in terms of your beliefs and your faith or lack of faith or your spiritual journey, I think there's wisdom in this myth in terms of, choose the path of virtue or the path of vice, which disguises itself as pleasure and happiness. What's going to do you better in the end? And Hercules chooses the path of virtue, and by choosing that, he becomes renowned through history for his moral fortitude and his virtue. Yeah, he wouldn't have had that if he went with this woman Pleasure. He would have been forgotten by history because he would have been eaten up by that life and never done anything worth remembering or anything that would have impacted the world in a positive way. So yeah, let me know if you've heard of this myth and how you interpret it and kind of what takeaways you take from it. Let me know if you have any thoughts, if this is your first time hearing this myth. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed my reading of it and my little spiel there. So morning. It's a Thursday. It's a snow day, which has never happened this winter yet at my school. We are very averse to snow days. And to be honest, I'm not even sure why today was a snow day. It doesn't look that much worse out there than it is on a regular day. But anyways, so I spent my morning reading and working on some projects, and now I'm thinking of going to the cafe to do some schoolwork, do some journaling, maybe some more reading. I just need to get out of the house. I can't just sit here by myself all day. I'm gonna start going a little bonkers. So I'm off to do that, and I'm gonna take you along with me. So in a recent video, I talked about kind of my struggle to be motivated for my academic work right now, and that is still the case today, but I'm sitting down to dedicate my afternoon to my forum posts and my master's degree homework. School A style, I'm just gonna give up this afternoon as much time as it takes to this task without letting myself think that I have other options and get distracted from the task at hand. So no non-homework related reading, no crocheting, no any of these other things that I might want to do. So it's crunch time. That actually went really well, and I feel good about the piece that I wrote. So I'm gonna make a coffee and then listen to a lecture and take some notes. Okay, one thing I did want to share really quickly before I end this vlog is, okay, so a few weeks ago, I taught myself how to crochet. So I just kind of looked at a few YouTube videos and learned how to do the chain stitch and the single stitch. And then I've basically just been trying to crochet squares and trying to perfect kind of the straight edge. But yesterday, my mother-in-law taught me to do the double stitch and how to make circular creations. And so I did this in one afternoon, and I'm very proud of it. It was supposed to be a hat, and it turned out just being kind of this circular thing. So this is what it looks like, which I think it looks beautiful for a first attempt at a circular piece of crochet. I'm so proud of it, and it's probably just going to end up being what we call in Dutch a punnelup, which is like a pan holder, so you'd put a hot pan on there before putting it on the counter. Yeah. Anyways, I am very proud of this little thing, and I just love the color also. So yeah, looking forward to doing some more crochet projects. And I've also been starting to embroider this vest that my Oma gave me. And my embroidery skills are not great, but I'm working on it, and I want to make it all colorful and floral and springy for the spring. Alright, that is all for this vlog. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being here and for supporting me. Please do like this video, comment if you have any thoughts or feelings about anything, and I will see you again very soon in the next one.